Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. And as you can see, we are into a game of a Global 40. And I just finished a game, and I was recording it, but I did so horribly, I decided to spare you. It was not good on my part. I just made some really, really bad decisions, and so we decided to stop it after round three. We didn't even get through the full round three, and my opponent this is the only Axis now as he plays, and he is really, really good at it. And I keep slipping into Global War 39 mode and screwing up. So we're playing again. I'm playing the Allies, he's playing the Axis, and he comes from the school of, as long as the Allies can hold on the first three rounds, they're going to win the game eventually. They'll just eventually overwhelm and win. And yeah, he was proving that in our game. I played Japan very poorly. Germany I did pretty well at, and Italy I did not do well at all. This game, though, he's doing very well with Italy, and he's likely going to end up taking Cairo. He's definitely going to take Cairo in round two. There's just nothing for it. Yeah. Now, in my defense, which I had no defense during round one, I didn't get any hits on Italy, except the French boats damaged a battleship. I got no hits on Italy and no hits on Japan. So I was 0 for 9 or 10 or something with defenses. Granted, they're only twos, most of them. And so you're not expected to get a lot of hits, but it would have been nice to get a couple, to whittle down the Italians in Africa. But he's coming with everything now, and there's I simply cannot stop him, which is unfortunate. So we're going to be retreating out of Cairo, and the only way to retreat is through these three units because I didn't get a hit, and we'll just be leaving these guys behind, likely. So we'll come down into Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, bring these guys up, bring a couple guys across. But he's definitely, he's going to get Iraq. He's gonna start getting bonuses like crazy. So right now, Japan didn't do a J1, but he built 3 transports up here, so who knows where they're going. Hawaii is wide open, but he likely won't do that. I have brought everything over here. There's a fighter in central U.S., but the rest of the American aircraft is right here in the west, ready to make a serious push westward itself. And again, this is trying to get used to this map where you can go from Hawaii all the way down to Queensland in one turn. He did that to me last round. I was like, oh, right, yeah, you can do that. So I gotta stay more aware of what you can and can't do on this map. But hopefully we'll be able to salvage something out of Africa here. The best thing I'm going to be able to do is next turn pour everything here into the U.S. on the east and build a whole bunch of transports and whatnot and just come down here and just threaten Rome. That's the best I'll be able to do because I hate it when America does that. He did that to me last turn. He actually ended up with, I think he had 7 or 8 fighters in Gibraltar. So now the thing he did, which is really annoying, you can see Germany's pretty thin here. Not a lot going on. He saved his money, so he's got $100.
That's a spicy meatball!
To spend with Germany this next round. And so he could build, 7 or 8 transports and fully load them and do a sea line. So I built a fighter and 5 men in London because I didn't want to spend nothing but men because then, he just goes that way. But we'll see. He killed a fighter with his fleet here as again, I didn't do too well with my rolls, and he had a damaged battleship up in 111, so I had to go kill that. And of course, he shot down one of my fighters.
Stop whining.
So it's annoying. But we're gonna have to we're going to have to get our A game on, which probably isn't even going to be sufficient, but we're going to do what we can. I had a fun little counterattack with the French here. He didn't attack southern France with Italy, and so I went and attacked. He had 3 guys in Normandy, Bordeaux, so I brought my fighter from London, and I brought these 2 guys, and finally the dice were good for me.
Okay, all right. Oh, nice shooting, Tex.
So that was nice, and you know, he's obviously got enough stuff to take all this anyway, so I thought, why not see if I can't peel off some German units. And now this way, if he wants to take it, he's got to have units in Normandy, Bordeaux, like finish their turn that way. So they're 1 space further away from the Eastern Front, if that's where they're going to eventually head. So not sure if that's, you know, a great tactical decision, but it is what it is. Yeah, he really had, by his own admittance, he had really good dice, you know, going on. With the Eastern Front, I built a bomber, and then man artillery, and then a bunch of men, and we're gonna continue to build up the defense here. He obviously can't come into Germany this turn, or into Russia this turn, but likely turn 3 he'll be coming in with some good stacks, so I'm going to have to get ready for that. So we shall see how things go. Unfortunately, having to stay behind here in Britain to protect against a possible sea lion is a bit annoying. His next turn, though, when he builds, it'll be rather telling as to what I can or cannot do with Britain on the following round. But obviously, we got to get out of Cairo, and if he doesn't demonstrate for a sea lion, like if he just builds stacks and stacks of tanks or a whole bunch of aircraft or something, then I'll probably pump out some tanks from down here and try to build up here and then march north. Meanwhile, the Americans will be landing here and threatening Italy. So hopefully I can box Italy in at some point, but for right now they haven't lost anything, and they're you know, going to be getting Iraq going here, and their economy will be doing well. He left Greece alone though, so, and I've seen that sometimes where people say, you know, we're going to shut off Britain, they're not going to get Greece, it'll be great. So we'll see what we see. All right, so that's the end of round 1. Round 2 coming up. See what Germany spends its $100 on, and see what these 6 Japanese transports are going to do. And yeah, should be a fun time. Of course, the venerable Japanese Air Force. He's kind of doing what I did last game. I didn't even have to move these 2 things after his round 1. So, you know, there are some standard things in this game, to be sure, but not getting any hits on him here. I just couldn't attack, so no bonus for the Chinese, and they likely won't get it for the rest of the game. So sometimes those dice just decide things.
That is why you fail.
And that's a bit annoying, but anyway. On we go, and we got a mighty Pacific fleet and lots of air power, so hopefully that will keep the Japanese at bay for a little while so that I can dictate things here in the European theater. But of course, those Germans. All right, turn 2 and a little bit has been done because I got a little excited about what was going on and all the great things, and so I neglected to make a quick video after France's turn, and so Germany has gone and the Soviet Union has gone. Both of those were pretty much just builds, no attacks, so that's not a big deal. We're going to show you what's going on here after 2 turns. So the Japanese have indeed done their J2 attack, not as auspicious as the J1, but here you have it. And this fleet here is this. And this fleet here is that. So a little divided up. And I can definitely match this fleet over here with the Americans, who are now stationed at Pearl. And this fleet here I can match with my British fleet out of the Med. So that's pretty good. Calcutta's looking fairly solid right now. We're only under the gun of 2 transports, and so they don't have the punch, and their entire air force for Japan is up here. Now they still have to go this turn, so they could move into position for a turn 4 attack, but for turn 3 at least, Calcutta is safe.
Inconceivable! You keep using the word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Up here in the north, the Soviets, I've kept a couple of guys behind with some anti-air just in case he, wants to go for it. But I moved 10 out this way. So 8 out this way. There are 10 guys here with 2 AA guns and 8 guys headed for the defense of Moscow, the inevitable crush. The Japanese and the Chinese have been kind of trading things back and forth. Now, in the first round, I'm not sure, it's been a few days since I filmed it. The first round, my dice were terrible. I didn't get any hits on Japan, didn't get any hits on Italy, and it was really bad. In the second round, my dice have been fire. Not even when I've been rolling, but when my buddy's been rolling. I've been getting hits on everything. And he really, really threw a bit of a wrench into his plans. But unfortunately, not a big enough wrench to stop this from happening. So Cairo is well and truly under Axis control. All those planes are in there. And they took Syria. And I was able to take Iraq. And I didn't lose anything taking Iraq. I took my 3 guys from Persia in there, and lo and behold, I got the hits. Of course, using bombards and some air power. But that was nice. Meanwhile, I had to come south here, take out 3 Italian units, but didn't lose anything again, so that was nice. I have a small force here. Nothing really to write home about, but the French are coming to help. So that could spice things up a little bit to surprise the Italians with their French opponents stepping up. The Germans went hog wild on bombers. They now have 6 medium bombers sitting here. Well, I guess they're all bombers in this game. I'm still in 39 mode, folks. It's really tough to shake it. But he has 6 bombers here in southern Italy. And Italy's bombers in Greece. And the Italians actually have 2. I misunderstood him. He does have 2 fighters in southern Italy. And part of me really wants to take a shot here. Now, the shot I can take is not great. In fact, it's really low odds. But I've got a bomber in Gibraltar. I got a fighter in Malta, and I could hit this here. So I'd have a 4 and a 3, but he'd have 2 4s and a 3. So it would be fun, though, if I could peel off some transports. You can see a German tank sitting on one of the Italian transports, which he's obviously trying to get down to Cairo so that he can get his 5 bonus. And part of me is just really licking my chops here going, man, I would love to just take a shot at that. You'll find out in the next video if I was crazy enough to do that, but it's kind of what I'm thinking. His German stuff is focusing on a northern thrust, not much stuff in the south here, but we can respond. I've pulled everybody off the front, so unless he wants to surge forward with a couple of tanks, I'm not going to be losing anything this next turn. I've bulked up here. I've got over 20 units in Leningrad. I've got about 20 units down here, 25, 28, I think, and just kind of building up where I can. I built a bomber and a destroyer. I built this last turn because he built a sub. And I thought, well, he's probably going to try to come in there and do something with that. But lo and behold, he moved his sub way over here. And he's got 3 subs on the board now. And I think what he's trying to do is prevent me from building up a British fleet to threaten the West, because he's got nothing in the West here. So we'll have to see if we can't disappoint him there. Right now, I do have designs on building a destroyer and letting him come at me with his subs and scramble my fighters, because once again, his air power is nowhere to be found. It's all down here south of the Med. So We'll see what we do with that. Gibraltar, I've bulked up quite heavily, and obviously there's no chance of taking out Rome, or I could go for northern Italy, because northern Italy, I believe, just has 2 men and an anti-aircraft gun, and maybe the artillery. And I thought, yeah, I throw a couple guys on here and go, but he could scramble his 2 fighters, so I could fly 1 fighter in there for support. But I don't think that's a good idea. But it would be fun to reduce that factory a little bit. But Italy doesn't have enough money; they don't care. He's also bulking up southern. I think he's probably going to throw some transports in there and then put some pressure on Gibraltar. I see that kind of happening. But he built a ton of artillery up here, and since he had saved his first round money, I was thinking Sea Lion the whole time. So I have built, since the start of the game, in 2 rounds, I built 11 infantry in there. Not everything, I still built a couple of fighters, but now I'm not going to do that anymore. And we'll see what we can build. I've got this handy dandy on down here, so I might even build some tanks down here this next turn and try to build up a force that'll go back and threaten Cairo, because if I can keep Italy tied to Cairo, at least they're not going to be busting out all over the place like they normally do once they take Cairo. So we'll see if I can do anything about that. I am going to be building an air base in Gibraltar this turn, I'm pretty sure, so I can scramble and protect things, because the Americans are going to be coming over here and bringing with them 8 units and at least 3 fighters. And we're going to start moving back across North Africa and try to reclaim that. And the great thing about having a naval base in Gibraltar, of course, is that I can land from here. I can land in Norway. And he's a little nervous about that. He actually ended up moving a couple of guys and an anti-aircraft gun back westward to Norway. It was empty. So I think he's trying to cover his bases there. Well, that is the wrap up right now. So right now I'm just waiting for him to get his Japanese turn 3 to me. I suspect Money Islands are going to be a key for him. He might even try to take this one out, which obviously he can. He's got plenty of stuff, but if he doesn't, that's a nice $5 bonus for the Anzac. So Anzac has $19 to spend. I built another fighter because there's a lot of Japanese transports, and if he keeps them together with the fleet, not much I can do. But if I could snipe 1 or 2 here and there, that would be really cool. And you might even see an Anzac bomber next turn, depending on which way these transports head. Because right now, both of these can hit Australia. So that's a possibility. My 2 Philippine detachments were able to get 2 hits. So he's down to 4 units on the Philippines. Excuse me. He can pick up 1 from Palau and still make it to Queensland. So he could bring up to 5 units there. And then he could bring these 2 units to Northern Territory. And these guys, of course, can go 1, 2, 3. So he could bring quite a number to Queensland on this turn. And maybe that's what's taking him so long, is he's really debating whether or not to come south. Of course, if he does, he's losing Malaya. And next turn might even lose the Philippines. We'll see. And, of course, the Americans, although I only have 2 units here, my whole fleet can hit here. And again, 1, 2, 3. That's one of those things that we had just previously played a game, and after 2, 3 rounds, I realized I was way out of position with everything for the Axis, and so we restarted here. When you don't play a map for a while, and you don't play a set of rules for a while, you make these mistakes, not even realizing you're making them. Being a Global War 39, Global War 36, Invasion Normandy kind of guy, and even more Anniversary than this, and a bit of North Africa, which I hope to be playing another round soon. I just simply, Global 40, I don't know that well, but this is the only one that he plays in his limited time. He's a busy guy. He's got 3 kids. So he doesn't I get to play too often, so he likes to play the one that he really knows. So, but we shall see how the Japanese use all of their mighty power here. I'm suspecting a money grab, right? So this is up by 11, and then he gets another bonus, I believe, of 5. So that's a $16 play for him. But then I think, depending again on where all the transports end up, there could be some easy pickings here for the British Navy. And there could be some opportunity for the FEC or UK Pacific, it's called in this, to just start walking and put some real pressure on the Japanese holdings in Southeast Asia. He's parked a couple of bombers in Hainan, and as he was doing it, he says, I don't think I've ever done that before. And he says, I don't really have a great reason why, but here you go. So I think he was just trying to get them out of reach of my aircraft, and because he knows that sometimes I'll just take a poke. And so they're safe there, and that's probably why he did it. And there's still lots of targets within range. Okay, well, that is everything for the end of round 2 and the start of 3. Japanese are up, and in the next video, you'll see what they did and the Allied response. And then we're going to see what Italy's going to do, because Italy's got options, but Italy's also got some problems, and we're hoping to make those problems a bit more severe. We'll let you know. All right, here we are at the end of round 3, heading to round 4, and we're going to let you know what's going on. Look at that big American Navy. Where is that? Well, it's over here at the Carolines. I decided I'd better get going here because the Japanese are going to be running amok, the Italians are running amok, and the Germans aren't running amok yet, but they're about to. So I thought I'd come down there. So we'll start with the Aussies. Didn't really do much with them. I bought 3 subs, though, hoping to give the Japanese fleets a moment of pause. And yes, I say fleets because there are 2 of them. This one's not huge. It's got 3 destroyers and a loaded carrier. But yeah, it is what it is. And to help them out, he's got a cruiser and a destroyer here off Malaya, so they can zoop over to join them at any point. Wherever they go, they can reach. So then we have the more substantial fleet here of 2 battleships, 2 loaded carriers, and a cruiser. And in our game, cruisers are defending at a 4 when paired to the battleships. So yeah, makes them a little bit more attractive to purchase. So this is where we're at right now. The Philippines got a couple of bombers there, but my American fleet, it's pretty hefty. It's not really in any danger sitting here. I only have 2 transports though, so not a lot of threat there. He can definitely load up Japan this turn, and I won't be getting in. But the threat is real. But the Japanese have a lot of transports, as they are wont to do. So he's got about 8 transports right now. He's doing well with that. He built a factory in French Indochina last turn. And yeah, he's definitely doing the slow crawl across with Japan. And China, not long for this world. But I'm trying to stay as relevant as possible and keep my fighter alive. The Russians have not retreated from up north here. I'm waiting to see if he leaves anything exposed, and maybe I can snag some money and become a bit of a thorn in his northern side. These other Russians, of course, are sprinting back to Moscow. Calcutta, I have been able to defend from any Japanese incursion right now. To be honest, I'm not really sure what he's doing with Japan, which is always a concern. He's consolidated here. He's got his money now after round 3. So he's got a hefty account built up, but I've also been able to bulk up defense for both China and FEC. And Anzac, while not really powerful, I got 4 fighters. I got 6 or 7 ground units there, and I've got 3 subs. So if he does encroach, I can do some damage. So no soft targets right now. But he's a very good player, so I'm just waiting for that other shoe to drop. And he may, at some point say, yeah, if I can hit the Chinese stack with,
15 ground units, then I'll bring in the fighters, and if I have to lose some fighters, so be it, and then march on to Moscow. We'll see. The British are over here. We just lost Iraq. We only had one guy in there, but he got steamrolled by the Italians, who have built an air base in Syria. And he's got a lot of his Axis power is south in this game. So as you know, he took Cairo. Now he's branching out. Took Anglo-Egypt, Sudan. Left Ethiopia alone, though. I blitzed through there with a tank last round, and he did not take it back. So I'm sure there's a method to that. Not really sure what, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. You can see already that I have decided to take Anglo-Egyptian Sudan back. Essentially, I'm going to try to create a bit of a bottleneck because he doesn't have a lot of Italian air power. He's got a bomber and 2 fighters. That's all he's got. And he does, though, have a German ground unit, a tank, I'm just offshore here, and he'll be dropping them into Cairo to get his bonus for that, I am sure. And then, but I am cranking out tanks out of my factory here in South Africa. I'll be building to a turn for the foreseeable future, and we'll see how that goes. I'm likely, if this fleet survives this next turn, and I'm sure it will, because the Japanese can't reach it, and he's not one to suicide a bunch of tacticals and fighters. So, with this, I am definitely going to try to take back Iraq. Because if I can take all that out, there's no threat to the Soviet Union. And, that'll just put an end to that for a little while. Because he hasn't built any other Italian tanks. Just got one in Cairo, which probably he has designs on Africa. But again, who knows? He's, I think I've beaten him once in however many games we've played. So he always has an ace up his sleeve at some point. He does have a transport here, and he took Cyprus last turn. I didn't put an Italian roundel on Cyprus, so we'll do that now. There it is. Over here, I decided to show some threat with the French in Africa. I don't know what this means, but I just put that guy there. And I walked a guy over from Algeria, walked a guy over from Morocco. My Americans, I landed in Morocco, and he could hit it with all these bombers. He's got 6 strategic bombers that could come over. But I do have an airfield here, airbase, so I can scramble 3, plus I've got a cruiser and 2 cruisers. I got 2 cruisers there. So I got 2 cruisers and 3 fighters up against 6 bombers. So he's definitely got the advantage, but I don't know if he's willing to get rid of all of his bombers or lose a chunk of them, but he might want to, because I've got 4 American transports that could come land and ostensibly take Rome. So I don't think that's going to happen, because he's got some mechs that can make it to protect. He's got a couple tanks in Western Germany that could make it there, and he can fly this whole nonsense back. So I don't think there's any problem there. But if I can keep him focused on protecting the Italians with all this German stuff, I should be okay.
Oh, I can't believe you don't shut up.
He did have a sub in 104. I was able to kill it and block with a destroyer, so these other subs couldn't help in any sort of attack down here. So hopefully that'll stave off a little bit of destruction. Americans building some more here as well, trying to get some sort of a flow, not to say a shuck going back and forth, but that could be coming in not too distant future. On the Eastern Front, the Germans have yet to declare war on the Soviets, but obviously that's coming now, being turn 4, and he's got a lot of stuff here. I guess if I had to guess, about 30 units sitting in Poland right now that can come across. Got a decent stack up there. Decent numbers here. He won't be taking that this turn. So I do have a little bit of time to build up some more stuff. I got my bomber. I don't know. I like having a bomber to help out with any sort of if he leaves anything exposed to help out. So not sure if it's going to get used too often, but there it is. Yeah, Britain is pretty loaded up, so we don't really need to worry about any sort of sea lion, and he's not demonstrating for that anyway. He's got one transport, and that is all. Pretty much it, folks. Yeah, so the Italians are doing very well. Not sure what they collected this last turn, but I believe they're up in around 20 now, and then they're got some bonuses, so they're doing pretty well. Germans, again, still have to declare war on the Soviets, so their economy has been fairly standard. Hasn't really been busting out. The UK is getting slowly clipped, though, which makes it difficult to fight a protracted war, but we are going to do what we can to make life miserable for, as many people as we possibly can. All right, so the Japanese, huge economy, gearing up, should be fun. The Italians, bigger economy than they're used to, so they're going to have some fun. And now we'll see when the Germans unleash. What are they going to do? They're not going to be killing any units as far as I know, except maybe my Navy. But even that, they probably won't do because he's only got one sub and one cruiser versus a cruiser and 2 destroyers. So he might leave that alone for a turn. I will be very, very interested to see what he does with all these bombers here and all this air power here, though. It's going to be a very interesting turn 4. Stay tuned, folks. And just so you know, from the time of my last video, it was the last turn wrap-up, I think, was in November. We are now on February 15th. It has taken this long. He's had some tragedy in his family, and he's just kind of getting through that, still working through it. And so this has been just sitting here. I've done other stuff, though, as you have seen on the channel, but I have another place I can set up smaller games. But this one, it's been a while. I'm still trying to remember what's going on. Yeah, I know FEC's broke. I got $6 for FEC this turn to spend. So yeah, 2 guys. But beyond that, folks, hopefully you're having a good time, and we'll get back to you with turn 4 right after this. Round 5 is done, and I think I kind of waited too long with some stuff I did, so I might not make out too well here. But we'll show you what went on here this last round. I retreated out of Iwo Jima, brought my guys back down to the Carolines. I like them better there anyway. He came and sank my destroyer, in the Marianas, and so I came in and sank 2 of his destroyers. But my subs will probably get zorched by his destroyer there. He came down and sank my destroyer off New Guinea. But the real story is that he's come down here to Western Australia. Had a bit of barbecue. And crikey, I'm not happy about that. So I brought everybody back here. He does have 7 transports, he has 7 transports. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 transports, and as you can see, some pretty heavy hitters, but he also has all the aircraft. So I'm pretty sure Sydney's going to fall this turn. I put my cruiser in with the Americans to hide it and some measure of safety. I left the American fighter here, but I took the bomber back to Wake Island. There's just no sense having it die here. So that'll be that, and that'll be another victory city for him. So that'll give him, I think it's almost enough to to win if he takes this and holds it along with the other stuff I'm going to show you that he's about to take, probably. He did, coming down here though, he did essentially sacrifice a chance to take Calcutta in the next couple of turns. And so Calcutta should be safe. He can't get enough stuff there. Even bringing all of his planes, they're just too far away right now. So all he can hit Calcutta with is a couple bombards, 4 ground units, and a handful of planes. So probably not enough to take this out, and he's not that silly to try something like that. China is a bit resurgent, though, as he has turned his sights southward. So I am trying to scoop up as much territory as I can and be annoying, and I killed a few Japanese troops along the way, which is always helpful. And the Russians have decided to get in on the action, came in, liberated Manchuria, and took Korea for themselves. So that's going to help out their economy because it's shrinking fast. But more on that later. Over here, the UK fleet came down south, trying to stay relevant. But it's hard to be relevant when you're always hiding. So we're going to have to do something about that. I did take Anglo-Egyptian Sudan last turn, but he took it back. And he's now built a factory in Cairo that he will be able to start pumping out ground units. Last turn, though, because I couldn't take Rome, the British decided to head up here. Just took Normandy with a single guy, left the tank in Africa, which is bolstering the French troops in Tunisia. And now the Americans are here. They got 6 troops. You can see I've got my combat arrow already pointed out because, I was thinking, I'll go to Rome, but then I knew he was going to end up putting out blocker, which he actually forgot to do, but he ended up doing it. We're pretty loose with how you do things. So he'd put his whole build on, and then he sent me a video, and I'm moving the destroyer there. And I've done the same thing where it's like, oh, shoot, I forgot to do this, because filming and playing, and it's sometimes you forget things. So we did take Normandy, woohoo! And unfortunately, I think it's going to turn out to be more of the Dieppe raid than anything else, but they're there, which is nice. Americans have got, I bought 5 transports, so I got 10 units now. So that's not nothing, but again, not heavy hitters. But at least the fleet should be safe. My fleet in the channel should be safe as well. I've got a cruiser and 3 destroyers sitting in there, and 3 fighters to scramble, and he doesn't have any air power this far north, so he should be unwilling to sacrifice that on the German turn. Now, he may take these fighters that can make it. They can go 1, and then go right to France, 2, 3, 4, and then land in Holland, Belgium, and sink this whole fleet here. But he'd also have to spend some air power to sink these guys, and I don't know if he has enough to do that. I think he'd end up losing a lot of planes. But he might be wanting to do that, because if he can stifle this, that might then be the game. But if I can threaten Paris, it's a victory city, or even threaten Western Germany, because he doesn't have a ton of stuff back here, could be interesting. And I do have these 6 units here for the Americans. Got 1 artillery hiding back there, 3 men and a couple of mechs that I could come up and land in Western Germany to join the Americans who landed in Norway up here on the end of the world. But we will see what he does with his German build. He's got a lot of money, and he could build 10 subs or something if he wanted to. And that would probably be not a lot of fun. He definitely has enough stuff to take Moscow. I left Leningrad a day too late. Again, I don't play this game often enough, and when I looked up, I went, dummy, to myself. I just didn't count the number of spaces. So he can attack Moscow. Next turn is 6. He can attack it on turn 7. And all of my Russian reinforcements can't reach until turn 7. So it'll be after they attack. So I'm probably, not 100% for sure, but I'm probably going to take my air power back out. Probably marshal everybody in Vologda And, he'll still have to kill a whole bunch of stuff here, and then I'll be able to attack with my air power and my ground units. And he doesn't have any real follow-up here. This is a kind of a one and done, so we'll see. That's my strategy. Leningrad is an open city. I just don't have enough stuff to put up a good fight right now. It's just not going to happen. He's turned the Italians northwards into Turkmenistan, of course, to put some pressure on the Soviets from the south. So that's annoying. But this, I can certainly, I could even take shots at it with my air power to just kill it. But I don't even think that's worth it. I'll probably just walk a guy over as a blocker. And yeah, that'll be pretty much it. I did do something fun, though. I've got 10 units here. I got these 8 Soviet infantry and 2 Soviet artillery. I went into Bessarabia because he's got nothing in the hinterland here. So I'm going to see what he does, because if he has to turn around even one turn with this group, that'll put him 2 turns further away from Moscow. And I don't think he's willing to do that. So he's probably going to move to Bryansk this next turn, take Ukraine, Bryansk, Belarus, Leningrad, take all that stuff, and leave these guys alone. So I'm going to walk into Romania, and after that, maybe he'll build a bunch of tanks and come and kill them. I don't know, but we're getting a nice bonus for that, and hopefully I can hold on to Moscow so he doesn't just take the bonus money back. That's kind of the problem with this whole thing. But it's definitely an interesting game we've got going here. I think he's got me. He's a cagey veteran. And I'm a day late on my Russian movements. I think if I had gotten these 26 units back and these 10 units back, if I had gotten another 36 units into Moscow, I don't think he'd have enough to take it. But alas, I did not. So that's it for the round 5 wrap-up. We will be with you very shortly with the round 6. Not looking great, but hey, I'm having a lot of fun. I don't get to play Global 40 too often, so I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm learning. And I'm learning how the rules are considerably different from especially Global War 39, which I play a lot more of. But even Anniversary and whatnot, it's just such a different game. But it's a great one. So next time we talk, New South Wales will be under the rising sun, and the Hun will be at the gates of Moscow. And I wonder, will the British and the Americans be landing in force in France? Will the American Expeditionary Force take back Finland and start moving towards liberating Leningrad? Lots of moving parts, folks. I guess we'll see how it goes. Round 6 coming up. All right, turn 6 is done. On to turn 7. And we'll start with the Americans. You can see that I've loaded up with America here. But I feel like I might be a turn too late. Here. But well, obviously we're going to keep playing. But I think I might not have gone quickly enough. So we've got the American fleet here with an Anzac cruiser. A couple of bombers on Wake Island, and 3 subs are here ready to make some trouble. And the reason we need to make trouble is because of here. So the Japanese took Sydney, and Anzac is effectively out of the game, unfortunately, just with a couple of boats out here and 1 lone guy in Dutch New Guinea. This guy is actually gone. So, shot him down in the assault. But as you can see, the Japanese fleet doing quite well. It's got 5 tacticals and 5 fighters. Yeah, but he does only have 4 ground units. So not really a threat to Hawaii. So I'm not too worried about that. And as good as this fleet is, it's really his only one. So there's that. He was able to take back Borneo. I still hold Java. And he still holds the Philippines. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, though. It's going to be interesting. I might have an outside shot at hanging on for an extra round. Tokyo's all covered up with a bunch of stuff now. I do have Korea and Manchuria with my Soviets. Came down a couple turns ago, as you know. But he's convoying Korea for the max every time. Although this turn, he didn't put anything there. He moved all of this stuff. So I'll get that $3 for the Soviets, which could be helpful. We'll show you why. Over here, the Chinese have moved forward. And I do have a good stack here. I think it's 15. So we can come take Shanghai. The problem, of course, would be to hold Shanghai. Shanghai being a victory city is important, and so I'm sure he will get some guys over there. Just going to replace this chip with an actual dude. Down here, Calcutta, bravely holding on. He couldn't take Sydney and Calcutta at the same time, so he's looking to do it probably in 2 turns. He's only got 1 transport that can reach, and so I'm not too worried about Calcutta being attacked. It's going to take 2 more turns. So, what does that mean? Well, he only needs 6 on this board. And again, I was thinking globally he needs 12 cities, but he only needs 6 on this board to win. And that is 1, Tokyo. Shanghai is 2. Hong Kong is 3. Manila is 4. Sydney is 5. Now, little chance of Sydney coming back. And the Philippines and Hong Kong are difficult to get and hold. But Shanghai is an open city right now. So if I can continue to keep pressure on, that might have an opportunity next turn to be gotten. Because his transports are kind of out of position to help with China right now. But I think he was willing to pay that price. But he has 2 here that 1 can reach Shanghai. Only 1 of them, though. So he could grab a man and the tank or whatever, 2 things, and bring them up and then land a bunch of planes, but I don't think he'll do that with that sitting there. Oh, and this fighter's in the wrong spot. I landed it there by accident. It's actually up in Manchuria. So we will see. I'll have 2 more infantry here in Calcutta, and maybe they can help hold. Of course, the Italians are coming by, causing all kinds of grief on the behalf of the Axis. So we got to watch out for them. They hold Cairo. They've got the factory there now. They're just going to pump out some infantry to solidify their stay there. I brought my fleet down here. I built a man and a tank. Tank will run up, but I do have a transport, so I can run this all the way up and do something with it. I have no idea, but I got a couple bombards, and I do have some aircraft that might be able to be part of an attack. I don't know. I don't know what I could do with all this in the next 2 turns, but we'll see. I do have a number of aircraft, but again, he'll have another 3 or 6 units in Cairo, and I'm only going to have maybe 2 or 3 units to attack Cairo with, plus air power, so that would be a long shot. But that's what the game is, right? A bunch of long shots. Up here, the Italians, they came over here with a destroyer to block the Americans, of course. So I sank it with my destroyer and fighters. Then he came over and sank my destroyer with his sub and a bomber, which flew back to South Italy. The Americans are over here, though. They're in fine voice here in Gibraltar. 7 transports worth of stuff. And they're ready to go. Or is it 8? It's 8. No, it's 7 transports, because 1 came up here and took Holland, Belgium. Yes, took Holland, Belgium. And the British landed another 6 units there, just to be a little bit upsetting. And then the Americans came and took Finland because it's wide open. But you remember that the Germans had their stack. They had 19 tanks, 13 artillery, and 12 infantry in Bryansk. Well, they're not there no more. Yes, I struck out from Moscow with Moscow and Ukraine together. I had 32 infantry, a handful of artillery, I think 8 artillery, a couple of mechs, a couple tanks, and my hearty Air Force. And I attacked, and the second round I got really good rolls. First round I didn't do well at all. Second round I think I actually out-hit the Germans. His tanks went very anemic. I think he only got 7 hits with his tanks and his artillery on the second round. So that really helped me out and cleared the path for victory. So very costly for the Germans. No chance of taking Moscow in the next 4 or 5 turns. Of course, they do have their Air Force up here, and they got a little stack of men, but I've got triple the men that they have here on the Eastern Front, and to say nothing of me taking Romania. So that's a 6-point play because I get 3 for the territory and 3 for the bonus. Now, he can come down here with his air power, his tanks, and his mechs and take this out, but he's also got this problem here, and obviously there's going to be more units coming across, plus there's a threat of this. Now, this is my conundrum for next turn, is if Germany doesn't bring anything down here to help bulk up Rome, that's way too tempting to not attack. But my problem is that he's got scramble, and he's got a battleship, 2 hits, a carrier, 2 hits, and 2 cruisers, which are defending at a 4, and then he's got a couple subs, although I can't see his subs. They're there. Now, the subs don't stop movement, so I could come in with a battleship, 2 cruisers, and I could bring in my fighters to attack the sea zone, and I could bring in 14 units to land in Rome. So I could do that, but if I lose the sea battle, I will then, on the next round, likely lose all my transports, and that would be disastrous, and all the units on them. So, anyway, that's just the thought process. These are the difficult things we have to do. What is it, war? These are the times that try men's minds and hearts and all that. That crap they said back during the American Revolution. Yeah, that's now. And when I say crap, I mean that with the utmost respect. But in this case, it's just a game. So it's kind of crap. But sometimes we have to make difficult decisions that could lose you the game. But if Japan is, if I'm unable to stop Japan, then this might be the last turn kind of shot for the Americans to make a dent. I also built a couple of Strat bombers that are supposed to be headed to the Pacific. I just ran out of place to build them. So that's where we're at right now. I believe this chart is accurate for the money at this point. I believe we are pretty accurate here. So FEC, or UK Pacific as it's called in Global 40, is there. China doing all right, got $13 thanks to the Russians. And then Italy's at 18. I got UK at 24. And Russia and Germany are actually quite close at this point. Japan might have a little bit more in this, but I'm not sure. I tried to keep up with everything. They might be up around 50, but I'll have to check on that. And America's having a pretty good run at it here, thanks to the Scandinavian money and, Java. It's always nice to hold Java. And I don't think he's going to care about Java, to tell you the truth, because I think time is now on my side. If this game drags out 3 more rounds, I think then that'll be tough for the Axis to win. I think by then I will have been able to bring everything to bear. As badly as I have strategized here or tactically done things, I think if we go 3 more rounds, I will be putting about $250 worth of stuff into the water here off San Francisco. And I think the Brits will be able to start pressuring Cairo if these guys here haven't already taken Rome. If they take Rome, I think he might sue for peace at that point, but I'm not sure, because again, all he needs to do is get and hold 6 cities for a turn. Again, 2 rounds to take Calcutta. I have no doubt he can take Calcutta. That's not even an issue. But while he's doing that, he's pulling all of his forces out of China to do that. What is he able to do to hold on to Shanghai and Kwangtung, knowing that I've got a pretty healthy Chinese economy? I've got $15 to spend next turn, so I'll be putting on 5 guys. And like I say, there's 16 right now, so if they're able to walk into Shanghai and I add another 5, then Japan is going to have to come and try to take Hawaii in order to get that 6th city, and that could be problematic. So, a lot going on, a lot of ifs and maybes, but this is just the way it is. And I love this game. This is a lot of fun. Hope you're enjoying watching it, and we'll be right back with I guess it'll be turn 7. And turn 7, there's going to be some things happening, right? Obviously, he's got to take care of those guys. He cannot let me build up in Holland, of all places. He can't allow that. And now he's got to make a decision what to do in the north here, because he is outgunned. And he's not going to be able to deal with a lot of what I've got. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. We'll be back with round 7 just after this. Okay, round 7 is done, and as you can see, the Americans, including this big fleet, which is that little marker, is all up here on the west coast. And I'll take my non-com out of there. The Anzac cruisers up there, the Anzac subs are there, just running away from his very impressive Japanese carrier fleet. Doesn't have much else in it, but it doesn't need much else. Reach out and swat someone from there. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret, though. We know that the Japanese have taken all this territory, and there's really nothing in the South Pacific at all that can really hurt them. And they have lots of boats and lots of planes, of course. And they're starting to push the Chinese around. You can see this. They beat my big stack of Chinese, and I took out a bunch of his stuff doing it, though, so that was nice. No planes, unfortunately, but I took out a bunch of tanks and infantry. So he's down to attacking me basically with tanks and planes now. So that I don't mind trading that. And odds are I'll get a few good hits in every now and again. China finished on 19, so I'm going to have 6 bucks to spend, and that doesn't look like it's going to decrease anytime soon. Now he could come up here and stop the bleeding, as it were. He could come up here and land, but he's only got 1 artillery. He's got a man on Palau, so he could go, 1, 2, 3 and bring up 2 units up there, and then try to use some tanks, but they can't get past my wall of Chinese nationalists. So I'm hoping he heads north, though, and I really, really, really hope he heads up to 19 or possibly even 6. Okay? Because I'm up here. But this is my plan. I have a design. Next turn, I'm going to, after the Japanese do their turn here on turn 7, I'm going to come all the way down to Samoa. Maybe even the Line Islands, maybe Johnson Island. It really depends on where his fleet goes. Okay, going to come all the way down south. I could come down to Samoa, right? 1, 2, 3. And you might be asking, where did the submarine come from? Well, without giving away too much else of what's going on, I decided to bring the Americans out of the European theater. Okay, so except for a few guys way up north, the Americans have backed out of the European theater, and they're sitting in Central America. Well, as you know, Central America borders 64, and 64, as you know, borders 11, 28, and 51. So from 64, I can certainly get to 51. I could actually get to 50. So depending on where this Japanese force goes, if he goes up here with no naval base, which I highly doubt, but he might, because I took Shanghai, but I highly doubt that. But if he does go north, maybe to capture Iwo Jima, I don't think he will. But again, he's only got 1 artillery and 1 infantry. That's all he's got. He's got 3 guys in New South Wales. Okay, that fleet way over there in 64 and this whole fleet can all combine and come down and rest here or here. Okay? But they're British. Well, that's okay, because America goes first, then Britain goes. So Britain then can plant a naval base on whichever island all the Americans are sitting at. And I will have 22 units that I will be able to then bring, ground units, in order to start a campaign in the South Pacific. Now, if he doesn't retreat this group, if he just leaves it sitting here, I can still come to Samoa. but the following turn he'd be able to put up blockers and probably hold me off long enough to take Calcutta. So this is the quandary I'm in right now, is whatever he does with this fleet will decide the game for me. If he does not skedaddle out of the Carolines, then I'm pretty hooped. I don't think I'm going to have time to get it. The other thing I could do is bring my fleet from 64, and it can move too, so we could come to like the Line Islands and build a port there with everybody on my American turn, and then see if he'll hit that with all the junk I'm going to have down here. See if he'll go after that. If he will, then there you have it. But again, if these guys are out of place, so I'm kind of excited about this. I'm kind of excited. I'm not going to lie, and we'll see if it all works. Meanwhile, Italy's building bombers. They now have 4 bombers in Africa and a whole bunch of cheapo infantry. They've got some fighters. So Calcutta is toast. Like, this is not in doubt whatsoever. It's not even close. And there's even a chance the Italians might take it. Now, I do have 2 transports here now. So with my 2 transports, I can bring the 4 units and, put some in West India, perhaps stall the Italians a couple turns as they try to get some cheap infantry over there. So I could do that. I could also come up, and depending on what all this infantry does, like if he leaves it weak at all in the Cairo region, then I might be able to go up and snag the Cairo factory. I highly doubt that. He's not a silly man. He knows what he's doing. So I do have a tank and 3 men to put aboard here. I do have 3 tanks as well on the African continent itself. Just haven't really been in a position to use them, but I've definitely blocked Italy from doing anything crazy either. I'm just glad he's not building tanks here. If he had been building tanks the past couple turns, that would be it for Britain in Africa. But I've got a little bit of time, a little bit of air power here, and that's the way that goes. Let's see what else is going on. The French trying to do something here. Not really sure what, but they're moving across. I think last turn I was talking about the Americans taking Rome, but I wasn't going to do that. Now this time, in Rome right now, there's only an artillery. That's all there is. Now Germany goes next, so he can fly his Air Force down, and he probably will, and he can bring 6 mechs over here to southern Italy. So not a problem. I've only got 6 units landing. I'd have 1 bombard with a cruiser at 3. So, I'd have 6 2s and a 3, and he would have, he's probably going to bring all that down. Now, having said that, up here I'm going to get rid of these combat arrows. Up here, we've got the Americans who have taken Karelia and Viborg. So German planes have no landing spot except the Balkans, which is definitely going to be within range of my big stack of infantry in just a moment. So we have an opportunity to push the Germans pretty much right out of Russia in the next little bit. Germany's not making a ton of money, so that's good for us. They're kind of weak right now, money-wise. They've lost a lot of stuff, but as you can see, they still have a lot of stuff in the name of air power. But they are almost out of units here on the Eastern Front, save some infantry. But I do outnumber them in the south, and I definitely outnumber them in the north. That right there is about 132 units in Archangel. And we're pretty healthy that way. As you can see, the Italians had a little bit of a recon and force up into Turkmenistan with a tank. I brought over a guy to block, but they did not push the issue. And so if I keep building tanks here, and if I hold on to Leningrad this next turn, definitely going to be building some tanks in there, and then might even build some more air power. you may notice the Russian bomber is over here, and Japan was loath to attack it, but that allows some options for the Russians. Not just attacking with ones. Now I've got a 4 over here. Don't know if it's going to ever be used, but it's there. Probably won't make as huge a difference over here as it could make over here. So I'm going to leave them over there for now and perhaps build another one here. But, you know, tanks and bombers are expensive, so I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself because I do also need to take care of defense if the Germans spin around and head back. So the British fleet down here, the reason he left just one artillery there, like I say, he can bring his whole air force down to southern Italy, and they'd be quite safe, and 6 mechs. Now, if he does do that, I'll probably send these guys right back up the coast and land in Normandy. And with guys from Britain, though, not these guys. I got to leave them here because I really don't want Italy getting a hold of the Mediterranean exit out the west. So we'll see if these guys will make it down into Samoa, and we'll see if the Japanese are going to just stay here. The Caroline Islands is the Gibraltar of the Pacific in my mind. It really connects a lot of dots. You can get to Sydney, you can get to Tokyo, and you can get to Hong Kong. You can get all the way to, you know, French Indochina and all the way up to Manchuria. It is a fantastic spot. I didn't want to give it up, but I had to. But who knows? If he splits up his force, sends, maybe even if he sends his transports back, then I know that I might have a shot at taking Sydney. He'll have 2 more builds here, but my 20-some units and all my aircraft should be enough to dislodge him from New Zealand, or pardon me, Anzac territory. But will it be in time? Will it be in time indeed? That is yet to be seen. So I think we're coming up to kind of the finish here. Probably 2 or 3 more rounds, and we'll know if it is worth carrying on, or if he has won outright. And as you know, the 6 victory cities on the Pacific are all that he needs, which he has right now only 4 because, of course, Shanghai. But he'll take that back undoubtedly on his next Japanese turn. And then we'll see what happens to Calcutta. I think it's safe for 1 more round. But 2 rounds from now, it's probably curtains. All right. Here we go. Round 7 recap coming up. What's he going to do with all those bombers? Okay, round 9 has arrived, and I think my goose is cooked. I think he kind of anticipated maybe a move south, so he brought a destroyer down, but he still got his fleet, and he left it at the Carolines, and he flew out every plane he had to come down here. And he's bulked up a little bit here in Queensland, you know, brought some stuff. So I don't know. I think it's just, it's too little too late. He's likely going to be getting his 6 cities here. But, yeah, this is the mess I got down here. It's a nice fleet, actually. And I built a naval port with the British. And so in this sea zone, I have 6 cruisers, 2 battleships, 4 fully loaded carriers, and then 11 transports that are full, 2 destroyers, 3 subs, and then there's 5 bombers and 2 fighters sitting on Samoa. You can't see the island anymore. And then I built 6 more bombers this last turn because I'm pretty sure there's nothing else that I could have made any difference with. So his fleet's here. Again, it's a good fleet, but it doesn't compare to mine now. And there's no transports with anything in it of consequence. Now, he does have transports here that could go up to Hawaii, but of course couldn't hold it. And if he does that, then and uses his navy to go up there, then I can probably, I don't know, I can kill a lot of stuff. So we'll see what he does. But he has no transports here. They'd have to come from Queensland, and that would just weaken Australia, which, who knows? If things go poorly for him in India, maybe I'll be able to hang on. So here we've got, again, another build-up, but he's now got, I don't know, he just keeps putting in tons of tanks. So he's built 18 tanks here in the last 2 rounds, and he's going to build another 9. So he's just having fun now. He's not even caring. Calcutta, I saved my money this turn, so I got $12 to spend with them next turn. I flew the bomber from Africa over here, and I brought my fleet over here to 58. So 58 from here, I can go and put stuff in Calcutta. Should need be, I can come over and start threatening Australia. And I could come here and take Malaya. That doesn't do anything, though, because it's not a victory place. I could snipe a couple islands, what have you, right? And the only natural enemy I have is the Italian fleet that finally came through without a destroyer. That's why the American sub is still okay. And I flew these guys out to Madagascar, and they'll probably end up landing on the carriers out here on the carrier, and then these planes here can go up to Calcutta. I didn't build anything in Africa because I had to build the naval base in Samoa, and that's about it. So Africa is really kind of calmed down now, and he's got every plane on Earth in the Middle East and the Mediterranean. So he's doing fine. It probably will happen that the Italians will take West India. He's got 4 transports in this fleet, so he can load up, whatever he wants and go get it. So yeah. I think it's pretty done. He can block me out in the Pacific here, right? He's got a bunch of destroyers, he's got his fleet, and he just blocked me, and I can't get past in one turn. Now, my trick, not really a trick, I'll do, of course, is the classic, if he puts a destroyer blocker here, I'll kill it with my Air Force, and even if I lose a plane, whatever, and then I'll non-com all the way through into Sydney Harbor. And then he can't stop me from landing. He certainly doesn't have... I have 22 units, plus my aircraft, that I can land. So I don't see him being able to stop me from doing that, even with his fleet here. It's just, again, it's really not a match for what I've got. So we'll see. If I can hold on to Calcutta this turn, I got a shot. But that's a big if. It's a big if. Japan's got a lot of money. Italy's got a lot of money. Germany does not have a lot of money, so that's helping me out. Let's take a look at the Eastern Front here. He's got a lot of stuff in one spot there in Eastern Poland, but I definitely outnumber him and outpunch him here. He's only got 1 tank in this side. I had been threatening a landing in Italy, so he brought some mechs down from France to help them. And I only had 6 units that could land, so I decided to send my transports up here, built another transport, so that'll give me enough to land 8 units anywhere I want. And I'm not really... the European theater is inconsequential at this point, because he's not going to be coming in and taking these cities, right? He doesn't have the horses to do it. So he's not taking Leningrad back. He's not taking Moscow. He's not taking Stalingrad, and he's not taking Kiev. Or actually, that's not even a place. So, I mean, it's a place. It's a place. My family's Ukrainian. It's a place, but it's not a victory city. So these 3 victory cities, he's not going to get. So he can't win on the Europe board, unless this game went for another 10 rounds and everything changed. I just don't see him being able to prosecute a war here in the east. In fact, he's going to have to retreat after the next Russian turn, because I'm going to move all those guys into the Baltic states. And he'll have to retreat because he doesn't want to give up Warsaw. So, and then right after that is Berlin. So, yeah. I think that's the European theater we don't really even care about right now, to be honest. It's just not causing a lot of a concern in the game. And that's why Italy is sending everything over to here. He could lose Rome, and win the game. So it's not a big deal to him. So what I predict this next turn, he only has 2 transports that can attack Calcutta. And nothing on the ground can attack Calcutta because I've got my Burmese blocker and he goes before Italy. So what I predict is he's going to land possibly in behind in West India with Japan. That will then force me, and he'll take Burma, of course, and slide a bunch of these tanks down this way. That'll force me to then take West India so his 3 tanks can't blitz through, but I probably wouldn't even do it because he's got all this air power. So Calcutta's toast. And I wouldn't be able to hold Shanghai, of course. I've only got 1 guy in there. And yeah, I got a few guys back here. I built 6 more Chinese infantry. But really, I mean, just let's face it, we're not a threat. And he's, again, got his 3 transports and a couple of bombards if he wants to just pick guys up and snipe the coast. So, Japan, he's feeling comfortable with that. He's not worrying about all the stuff on the outside. And, you know, China's building 5, 6 guys a turn. He doesn't care. And nor should he. Because when you get down to it, this game is all about those little red cities. So, if Calcutta does not fall this turn, I have 27, 28, 29 units there. He can hit it. Actually, this turn, he might not be able to take it this turn. So if he can't take it this turn, and if I can take back Sydney and hold it and keep Hawaii, which I can, because he can't. The only thing to get to it again is this stuff, and he's certainly not going to sacrifice all that stuff just to take it for a moment. And again, there's no guarantee he'll take it, but he probably would because he has air power there. But he has this fleet, right? He's got 5 carriers. I've only got 4, but I have 2 battleships to his 1, and I have 6 cruisers to his 1. And I've got 3 subs to his none and 2 destroyers to his none. So I definitely have more punch. And plus I got a bunch of bombers that can all reach. So I don't see him trying to dust up with me. So it is going to be an interesting finish. Yeah. I'm at a loss really as to what to do at this point. Except I can't let him get any sort of momentum in Russia. If he gets that, then I'm in trouble. So I'm going to try to keep the pressure on here, and we will see if he is just going to be happy to hold on in Europe and just have Japan run the table. Well, time will tell. Turn 9 coming up, and I really hope all this mess gets to have some fun. Took a long time to put it together and get it over here, so we shall see. I'll let you know in just a moment. All right, the 10th and final turn, I've been told by my opponent. And if I had known, I probably would have made a minor change. It would not have affected the outcome, in my estimation, in the slightest. So we're just going to show you what we got going on here. Hey, we brought our transport down to Hawaii here. Look at that, it's pretty cool. But all around here, he gobbled up all of these islands, landing spots, whatever you want to call them, to prevent me to have places for the bombers to land, which was a good idea. So I killed all this stuff here. I lost a couple subs doing it, but it was like 3 or 4 transports and 3 destroyers. So I was able to wipe all that stuff out just for the loss of a couple subs. Of course, transports don't shoot back. And that's where we sit right now, is he's got little stuff here. I did have a successful attack from New Guinea into here, just one-on-one, and I actually won that. That was pretty cool. But here we are. This is the American fleet. Now, the reason I'm not in New Zealand, because he had all the blockers. But part of me is kicking my own butt right now. Sort of, but not really. I thought maybe I should have parked it here, but he has a ton of air power. He's got 10 fighters, 13 fighters, and 4 tacticals. That'd be 17 planes he could hit this with. Because I left it here, he can only hit it with that, so he won't. But these guys are all going to go play defense now. So that's going to give him 14, 17, 21, 22. 3 more things will be 24. Unless he plants a boat here, which he likely will to stop the bombards, because I'm going to have 1, 2, 2 4s and 5 3s. So that'd be 8 or 7 shots that I wouldn't be taking. So, but that'll then take away something from there. So who knows? But I'll be landing 22 units, and then I have 8 aircraft to go along with it. Unfortunately, most of them are fighters, so I have 2 tacticals. So it's kind of a, as he says, a coin flip. It's a coin flip. But he also says if I win this, he will concede. So yeah, had I known that, I probably would have done something a bit differently. I was able to take out a couple of Japanese carriers here. FEC came and got this stuff, only to likely hand it all over to Japan next. So the Italians came into Calcutta, and I had withdrawn all my aircraft, thinking that, you know what, I want to stay relevant, live to fight another day. So I pulled out all my aircraft, and then he proceeded to attack with... or he proceeded to tell me after that oh, I'm probably gonna give up if you take Sydney, so or Calcutta. So that was unfortunate, but I don't think it's gonna matter. I think he's got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know, about 20 some tanks coming in here, and then he's also got 4 aircraft, 2 bombers, and 2 tacticals coming in, and so. If Calcutta actually survives from the Japanese attack here, I do have $13 to spend.
I'm rich! I'm wealthy! Yahoo! I'm comfortably well off! Woohoo!
But it won't survive the next round. So Calcutta is toast. That is for certain. Up here, we have Shanghai is now in Chinese hands. He can obviously come and take that back when he's got the time to do it. But that is not going to be easy for him to take this next turn. So he has to take Calcutta. He has to take Shanghai. And he has to hold Sydney in order to, and he has to hold them all for a turn to win the game. So I'm a little bit all in here, okay, because there's nothing I can really do if I lose this. If I lose this, I don't have a follow-up with America, because I've been pouring all my money into bombers the last 2 rounds, and so I can go kill stuff, but I can't take stuff. So this is the all-in, the degree all-in moment, as it were, and we'll see how that goes. But the Soviets get to go first, and they're going to pile everybody into Kangsu, so that'll be about 20 units he has to destroy. So, yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff over here. He's got 4 artillery, 4 men. He's got 2 more men here, and then he's got his air power that he'll likely use up here. So we'll see. We'll see. I think that's going to be a little tougher than he thinks. I'm hoping. Maybe not. But Calcutta is doomed. Sydney is definitely a coin flip. Over here in Africa, yeah, I decided to build up a little bit on this turn, because now that he is putting everything into here, he's given up on the European side of the board, he says, because there's really nothing for it. So he's likely, he said, not even going to play Germany. He's going to let me do my Soviet turn, and then he is going to do Japan. And so that probably won't change anything. The Brits took Normandy, of course, not to hold it, but just to make him come get it. But Britain could also, on its turn, if he doesn't bulk up southern Italy, could go and take Rome quite handily now, because there are only 2 guys sitting in there. But it wouldn't make any difference because, as the rules state, as long as the Axis hold one capital, if they hold 8 cities on the Europe board or 6 cities on the Pacific board, they win. So, and I think that's, I don't know, a little interesting for me. I think if you, you know, I like the other versions that if Italy is taken, then everything flips, right? So then all this air power that's sitting all over the board and whatnot would all flip, become allied. You resolve an attack in that territory immediately, and then off you go. I'd be inheriting a nice fleet with a couple of German fighters that are trapped. But that's not how this game works, so that's not how it's played. But this is how we are finishing off right now. Round 10, this will be it. He's going to bulk up Sydney. He's going to go for Calcutta. And he has to go for Shanghai very shortly. And if he can't do it this turn, even if he takes Calcutta, and even if I fail at this, he's going to have to take Shanghai at some point. And I'm going to be putting another... because I got 21 bucks last turn and I saved 2. So I'll be putting another 7 infantry there. So he's going to have to start taking out some of this Chinese money if the game is going to continue. But I don't think it will. I think he's going to... basically, if I fail here and he succeeds here and here, that's definitely curtains. I won't even sue for peace. I'll just flip the board and walk away. No. No, good gamers don't do that. But anyway, that's it for round 9. Round 10, going to be a very abbreviated one, like I say. No Germany turn, just a Soviet move, and then off to Japan. We'll see what happens. Okay, I'll let you know. Will Sydney be freed, or is it curtains? All right, well, here you go. This is the battle for the whole ball of marbles, bag of wax. I forget what it is.
Because I'm an idiot. Happy?
But this is it. This is the battle for Sydney and ostensibly for the game.
Well, good luck with that. I'm ready.
This is where it's all going to end. According to my opponent, he says we'll pack it in. He says if I win this, he's going to pack it in. If he wins it, we'll probably carry on. But he seems to think I'm going to win this. But we'll see what goes on here. I do have a lot of cannon fodder. I have many more units. Not many, but a few more units than he does. But he hits a lot harder than I do. But after I get rid of these 4, I'm into his good stuff, and my good stuff doesn't get hit for a long, long time. So that's probably to my advantage. Okay, we're going to start with the battle for the C-Zone here, C-Zone 62. And so I've got some battleships and cruisers. We'll just start with our battleships. Okay, so we got 1 hit. And then his destroyer comes back and gets a hit. All right, I anticipated that. So the Indiana is going to be damaged. It is damaged. All right, so now I'm going to, as best as I can, I'm going to put this onto the tripod in such a way that you can still see the entire box for rolling. All right, so let's go at it. He didn't build an AA gun, so with no AA gun, we're just going to get rolling here. So I've got 2 at 1, and then I'm going to have 20 at 2. So we'll just roll our 2 at 1. Yeah, there you go. That's the only shots they're going to get this round, this whole thing here. Now I've got 20 at 2, so I'm going to roll 10 dice twice. All right, 10 dice twice. So that's 2, 5. Okay, so I got 5 hits. I've got my handy dandy dice here. So that's 5 hits I've got so far. So 5 right there. I'll just put that right by his stuff. Okay. Now I've got 6 at 3. 6 at 3. And 2 at 4. 6 at 3 and 2 at 4. 4 more hits. So I got a grand total of 9 hits on him. I was hoping for more than that. That seems to be a little low, but it is what it is. All right, so I got 9 hits on him. He gets 4 2s back. Well, that's a good start. That's the only shots they're going to get, too. Then he has 7 at 3. 7 at 3. That's 3 tanks and 4 tacticals. Hoy! 5 hits. 5 hits. Oh, and here we go. So I've got a 5 beside mine. All right. And now he's got 13 at 4. 13 at 4. So I do not have nearly enough dice for that. I got 6. So 13 at 4. There's 4 more. So now he's equal with me at 9. Okay, so that's 6. He got 5 more hits. So that's 14. So that's 12. And 1 more. So 12. He got 12 hits there. So he is at now 14 to my 9. Okay. So I'm going to write that down just for posterity. All right. So 14. You got 14 on me. All right. We'll just keep rolling here. We're not going to worry about removing stuff and all that at this time. Well, I guess we probably should. So there's 4. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's got 2 of those left. And I lost 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right. And you may have, actually you probably didn't see, but on the lineup here, I do have one guy in a blue thing, because I got to keep 1 land unit if I want to take it. So don't want to screw that up. So I put him there to remind me. All right, so just like that, I am down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 2s. 8 2s. 7, 8. I need to do better. That's 4. It's not too bad on 2s. And then I've got, these planes have got to get hot. They got to get hot. So I got 6. And then 2 at 4. Got to get hot. That's not bad. So another 5, so that's 9 more hits again. So 9 hits. And then he's got 2 at 3. 1 hit. So he's got 1. And now he's got his 13 4s. 13 4s. Here we go. So that's 4, so he's up to 5 now. Another 4. He's equaled me again. That's 9. And then 1 more die. All right, so he got 10 hits on me that time. So he's into my aircraft now, I think. Well, let's see. I got 9 on him, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he is down to 6 fighters. But he got 10 on me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, this is really close, folks. I have 1 artillery, 3 fighters, and 2 tacticals, and he has 6 fighters. So he actually has quite an advantage on me right now. Well, here's my artillery blasting away. He misses. And then my I have 2 tacticals and 3 fighters. That's not very good. I only got 3 hits.
Stop whining.
Okay, so 3 hits. And he has 6 coming back. And he got 3 hits. Okay, so I lose my last 3 fighters, and he loses 3 of his fighters. So I have a 2 and 2 4s versus his 3 4s. Well, here we go. 2 hits, my 2 hit. And he has, he got 3 hits, that's it. He got 1 hit. Okay, so he's down to 1 fighter. I am down to 1 artillery and 1 tactical. So if I get 1 hit here, actually, I messed up my last roll. My 2 tacticals would have been down to 3s, not 2s. So we always said that we will re-roll the roll that we screwed up. We know my artillery got a hit, but I think I just have to re-roll the whole thing. So we're going to re-roll the whole thing. Okay, same outcome then. Okay, I don't feel badly. All right, now I've got a 3 and a 2 versus his 4. All right, there we go. Here's his 4. Oh, of course it's going to be cocked. All right. So that is the battle for Queensland, or for Sydney. I'm going to take this off of here. So that was his last fighter gone, and my tactical remains, and this is going to happen. So that's going to wrap it up, folks. We have liberated New South Wales, so very narrowly, by the narrowest of margins, almost narrowest. And we're going to hold on to Shanghai for a little while here. Calcutta, of course, dead. And because the Eastern Board isn't really mattering, he could have just flown all these bombers in on a kamikaze mission. He's got a fighter, a couple fighters, a couple tacticals, and I think like 8 bombers, 7, 8 bombers in there. He could have just flown over here and sacrificed to ensure victory, but I'm pretty sure Calcutta's would be toast in any event. But that looks like it's it then, folks. So congrats to my opponent for a heck of a game. I know it was a long time, and he had a lot to go through during this time. And that is where we finish off, a victory for the Allies, which ticks the box that he says, where the Allies are favored in this game. Let me know in the comments below, though, because in our game group, the Axis tend to do a little bit better than the Allies. But yeah, he was a very, very short distance away from proving me wrong, or proving himself wrong there. With the Japanese victory. They did very well, especially taking out Sydney and likely taking out Calcutta. Yeah, there are some, we're going to have a bit of a debrief and talk about how things went, why things went. And I think as soon as I started pouring money into the Pacific, I think on about turn 5 or 6, I stopped putting anything into Europe. Because the Soviets had destroyed the German army in Bryansk, the Americans decided to go the other way. Now, we did have a pretty big navy out here in 91, if you remember, a couple turns ago. And then I thought, well, we can't do anything about Europe, and it doesn't matter anyway, so I took them through the Panama Canal and brought them over here. I have to say that is likely the first time I have ever done that to that extent, to a group that large. I've snuck other things through, of course, but nothing of that consequence. But it happened to be enough. So, thanks for watching, folks. As we always say here at the Hilltop Pillbox, hug your loved ones, and thank your friends for playing. And hey, may those dice be with you, like they were with the Allies today.